Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the kingdom. This episode, I am chatting with Victory Boyd. She is a singer, songwriter, artist, child of God. She recently dropped her album Glory Hour, which has been on repeat literally all month. It describes like the month of May for me so perfectly because you guys know I just had a rough time in May, but the album is all about just persevering through the dark times and then the light that shines at the end of the tunnel. So, whenever I'm inspired by someone, I just like need to get them on the podcast because I just want to talk to them, see how their brain works, talk to them about their faith in God, their process with creating as a Christian in this world. So, I am so excited to bring you this episode. I was in awe of her the entire time. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see me just smiling like a child because I am just so, so in awe and enamored by her wisdom and humility and passion for Christ. And yeah, if you haven't heard of her before this, please go check her out and also listen to this episode. You get to know all about her. We talk about things like her morning routine and how she endures the waiting season and how she creates through hardships and even what her favorite food is. So I'm excited to bring this to you, and let's get started. Let your will be done on earth, 'cause it's already done. Hi, Victory. Welcome to the kingdom.
Hi, Karen. Thanks for having me.
It's so nice to have you here. I have been listening to your album nonstop, so I'm just like, kind of keeping it cool. But yeah, it's really such an honor, and I am I hope that it blesses me as much as it blesses you. Um, but I would like you to introduce yourself a little bit if people are listening and they haven't heard of you or what you do, just a brief bio of who you are for the audience.
Yeah. Well, I've learned that before I'm anything, I am a daughter of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
You know, learning that your identity is not what you do is very key.
Yeah.
But there is a lot that I do that I can identify with as well. So I'm a singer, a songwriter, a storyteller, an entrepreneur. I'm a sister. I have 8 siblings, and 2 amazing parents. And I'm a professional recording artist. Yeah, it's what I do for a living. So I'm partnered. I'm a Christian that is signed that was signed personally by Jay-Z in a record deal. So I'm in a unique position as a recording artist and as a Christian. A lot of my work is outside of the walls of the church, yet I just released a gospel album. So it's it's yeah, it's an interesting life, but it's all.
Yeah. That's amazing. First of all, thank you. And also, it's so interesting that, like, I'm sure it must have been scary doing the first gospel album, because I guess it's something that, I think a lot of people knew you were Christian, but it's not something that you like actively like made music like this is going to be a gospel song or this is going to be a gospel album. And sometimes I feel the same way when someone's like, oh, are you a Christian YouTuber? And I'm like, oh, I would just want to be like a YouTuber, you know what I mean? And so sometimes it's hard to separate, I guess, or I don't know if it's hard to separate, but you kind of almost want to separate yourself, but then you feel that no matter what I do, the Jesus comes out regardless. So it's just something that you can't hide. But I would love to know the process of even deciding to make a gospel album for the first time. What was that like?
Yeah. Well, actually, the first gospel album that I was instrumental in making was
Jesus
Kanye.
King, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Kanye's Jesus is King album. And so at first I was very measured. I didn't want to push my religion on people. I didn't want to
Mhm.
like all these things that people say. And so I would only share in parables, share
Mm,
stories. I was very good at telling stories and still am, that wove this story of salvation
mm,
without feeling too much to make it be considered religious.
yeah.
And so that was like my thing. And then uh and then I was writing all these gospel songs for Kanye. I was writing like 3 songs a day when I was in his writers camp. And and that was my goal every day, to reveal the power of God in song, like so that people could understand the mystery of the gospel. And then so that was 2019. Then 2020 came and the pandemic hit.
Mm,
And I didn't want to write any other kind of music other than the gospel,
mm,
um, but mostly for my own mental health, you
yeah.
know what I mean? And um, I didn't know that it would see the light of day. I thought, you know, what better, what better way to capture uh, the essence of a savior when the whole world needs one? You know what I mean? And so I just leaned into the moment, leaned into the hour,
Mm,
and was able to pull out the essence of, the power of God unto salvation, and in a way that people could understand, in a way that I could really feel it and understand it as well.
yeah. And I think that it's so evident because listening to it, it almost like the first time I heard, like played it from start to finish, it sounds like me. You know what I mean? And like the only really true way to be authentic, because I think a lot of people are trying to be authentic, but it doesn't come off as authentic because when you're trying, like you just draw from yourself. That's as authentic as it gets, is just being honest with yourself. And so like it sounds like something that I actually have gone through. It sounds like all my thought process, like literally like the lowest of feeling so low to like there's light, at the end of the tunnel. And I was, talking about it today, and we were saying that it sounds like you just depicted spiritual warfare from start to finish in an album. Like
Yeah.
every roller coaster of it. And so I think my question then is like, what was the catalyst? Was it the pandemic? Was it just like a hard time for you? Was it you feeling like, I guess just stuck? I don't know. I want to know, what were you feeling in those moments, because it sounds so real and raw and honest. And it
Yeah.
sounds like something that we all go through.
Yeah. Well, when I was 18, I learned through a very difficult situation, um, that in the darkest of places there is a glory to be found that is more radiant than this darkness is dark, if that makes sense. It's like,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
if it's just mildly dark, you don't need very bright lights, because it's not that dark.
Yeah.
Really intensely dark. And in order for this darkness to be defeated, there has to be an intense glory.
Mm.
And I found myself in a really dark place because I got into an accident where my jaw was broken and my face was disfigured. So, like, as a singer, they wired my mouth shut. And my arm was broken, so I couldn't play the guitar. So it's like, it was like everything that I held my identity in
Mm.
was gone. And so imagine the darkness.
Yeah.
But then I found glory as well, an intense glory, like an intense glory. That's with the concept of glory. Because I would never have found that glory so intense if I never, uh, I would never have found that glory so intense if I never found uh, that, um, if I never had to go through that darkness so intense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that kind, and so essentially, what I found is a deeper revelation on how powerful Jesus is.
Mm.
And that even this darkness he overcame when he rose from the dead. Right. And so from that moment on, it really formed my whole paradigm in life. I I started, so whenever I went through a rough time in life, I'm like, okay, this is dark, but where's the glory?
Yeah.
Where's the glory? Because I know that Jesus is stronger than this. So I am fully expecting a new revelation of glory that answers this darkness. It could be relationship stuff. It could be during the pandemic, it was all the loss that came from the pandemic. And so, I'm not saying we should lean into bad things, but I'm saying that since bad things are already going to happen, may as well find the glory that's going to come because of it.
Yes.
You know, like don't just go through bad things and that be the end of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have to go to the cross, at least stick through and wait for the glory of resurrection if it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like Glory Hour was an album that, okay, I'm looking at all this darkness, a lot of darkness around COVID. And I'm like, I want the whole world together.
Mm.
I want to show them the revelation of glory where
Mm.
we can all see it together because we're all going through darkness together.
Mm.
And I want this album to help people see the revelation of the glory of God. And it doesn't mean that darkness doesn't exist, but if we wait for glory hour through the nighttime with anticipation while putting our hope and our faith in the power of the Son of God.
Yeah. Yeah.
it, it's it it is going to happen. The darkness will not have the final say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want people to have, this defiant hope. If it's really, really dark, that means it's going to be really, really glorious.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
wait for glory hour. Just wait for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you did it so beautifully, like having people go through the motions, even with like sometimes the monologue, and like you kind of feel like, whoa, I feel like I'm getting out of this with
Yeah.
you, along with you. I think you nailed it, to be honest, what you were going for. So kudos to you. But I like what you're saying, because there was a movie I saw like a couple years ago, and it always stuck with me, because the character was so sad in it. And I'm one of the other characters is saying, okay, see how sad you are. And like you can feel this intense sadness. That's how intense, that just shows you the level of intensity that your emotions can go. So imagine
Yeah.
how intense happiness will also feel for you if you can also feel this intense sadness. So it always sticks with me when I'm feeling like super down. I'm like, okay, but I know that means that I can also feel just as much joy. And
Yeah.
and also another thing that helps me along with that is like Jesus died on Friday. there was a Saturday where you just didn't think that Sunday was coming.
Mm.
Right? You didn't think that Sunday was coming, but there had to be a Saturday where everything looked down and dark and hopeless. Because
Mhm.
if you just died and rose again, like it'd be like, oh, it was just like a prank. But everyone, the whole world just experienced the loss of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sunday came. And so then all the loss was wiped away. And I always just look at them as like, okay, it's just a Saturday today. It's just a
Yeah.
Saturday this season. Sunday's coming. I
Son.
like that.
And
Um,
it's, look at Lazarus when he died in the
mm,
Bible. They're like, why'd you let Lazarus die?
yeah.
And Jesus, like, this is not unto death, but unto the
Mm,
glory of,
mm, yeah.
it's not, it's some things, sometimes death happens, sometimes bad things happen, but it's not unto, like, when your hope is in Christ, like, those bad things, the end of it is not just bad.
Yeah.
It can always be unto the glory of God.
Yeah. For the
It
good. Yeah.
exactly. It can always, because, like, imagine if Lazarus never was sick, never died, never, it would just be a regular man walking. But because he had that experience, then God brought him back.
Yeah.
Now everyone's screaming, glory, 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 glory.
Yeah.
It's the manifestation of the glory of God. We can see it when it's contrasted against the darkness
Exactly.
world.
Exactly. Yeah. Beautifully said. I miss something that I always do in at the beginning of an episode, so we're just gonna go right back to it. But I love asking what you're welcoming and exiling. So, like in
Mm.
this period, it could be sometimes it's a book, sometimes a song, sometimes a feeling or a thought or a quote. Just like one thing that you're welcoming this period and one thing you're exiling this period.
Hmm. I am.
I
I'm.
know. It can be on the spot. Sorry. Put you on the spot.
You're good. I'm just trying to think how honest I want to be.
I say a lot of things that I will never say out loud anywhere on this podcast because I think that no one's listening, but then people are, and then they tell me about it, and I'm like, you actually listen to that? So yeah.
Yeah. I am. I am. I am receiving a standard
Mm.
of how of the love that I deserve.
Okay. Period. Yeah.
Like, from my close proximity.
Hmm.
Um, I'm exiling. Uh, I don't want to say love that I don't deserve because I just don't feel like that's love.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's I'm exiling the way anything less than what I deserve. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
In my close relationships, it's just, and it's not all about me. It's also about how, like, hold myself to the standard that I believe people should be cared for and loved.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not just how people love me, but how I love people.
Hmm.
And but it really starts with how I love the Lord.
Mm.
Because, like, I'm just one person. Like, I have a finite amount of time and a finite amount of resource and energy. And if I spend that energy wholeheartedly loving God, it's gonna it's gonna multiply
Yeah.
in how I love people. Um,
Right.
because if you spend all your energy wholeheartedly loving people, it's like there are a lot of people, first of all, and second of all, um, everybody has different definitions on what it means to love them. And so it's like I'm not gonna lie for you just because
Yeah.
to you that's what love means. Like, so as you spend your love on God and he'll teach you how to love people. And so, but also in that it's like, you know, when you grow up in a big family, a lot of times you can just have this habit of, oh, it's okay, I don't need all of that, or just whatever's left, or
Mhm.
you know, you're conditioned to not need so much, and so you kind of make it easy or negotiate relationships where people really don't need to put forth very much effort to be in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, it's fine, I can, like, it's whatever, like I don't care, like,
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
and it's just like you'll find yourself going above and beyond, and then other people like doing the bare minimum, and
Yes.
it just and it's what you negotiate, you get what you negotiate in life. And so it's like I'm not going to negotiate my space like that anymore. uh,
Mm. Mhm.
yeah, so you can live a much richer life because you have richer relationships and richer experiences and deeper commitments, um, deeper expressions of love that actually costs something and not just people hanging around just
Mhm.
waiting for stuff to pop off,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
And it probably takes it takes a while, not probably, because I've been through it. It takes a while to unlearn it and be like, oh wow, I actually I look back on some situation, I'm like, why did I think that was okay? Or why did I even think that was okay? Why did I put up with that? But
Yeah.
it's just a process of unlearning and seeing yourself as worthy of
Oh yeah.
actually receiving that.
That's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for. You
Yeah.
got it.
Seeing yourself as worthy. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm happy for you in this new era
Yeah.
of accepting the love you deserve. I like that. I want to ask, what has your morning routine been looking like these days? Um,
Ooh, girl, all over the place.
I can imagine.
It depends on the day and the morning and the city and the
Mm. Are you
hotel.
in New York? Are you based in New York or based in LA?
I-
You live in Cali.
Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. So, but I haven't been there in quite some time.
Yeah.
Been on tour, been traveling. And so, but these days, for the last few days, I have been consistently waking up and reading my Bible and worshiping. Like, I haven't had to rush off anywhere. I've been able to just have really solid mornings of getting my spirit right.
Yeah. It's
I was like,
important.
say again?
It's important.
Oh, listen, that's my favorite way. Like, I was like dancing around this apartment I'm staying at, like just me and my guitar and my underwear this morning. Just it was just like, I'm a child of God. Melody, but it was just so good. The
Yeah.
joy. Like I felt like a kid. I was singing, I'm a child of God. This is my inheritance.
Mm.
Like peace is my inheritance. Joy is my, I was just receiving my inheritance because I'm a
Yeah.
child. And like I got to start my morning like that. And it's just
Yeah.
bliss. Like I don't get to do that every morning, but when I do, it's just amazing.
That sounds so fun. That sounds so fun. What do you listen to though when you're worshiping? You listen to your stuff? Do you have other
I
um
always I always create a new song.
oh, okay. I like that.
It's always a new song every day.
Hmm. I like that. Because then you're not um I don't know if this is your intention, but you're not really, and I honestly, that was also my next question, but like you don't, I guess, adjust your sound because of what you're hearing like on a daily basis. You know what I mean?
Right. No.
Like comparing or being like, oh, I should sound like this or this or this. And I think when you consume a lot of what you already do, you start to alter to fit into what you think you should sound or look like. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. For me, I mean, it's really not about people.
Mm,
It's about authentically connecting with God.
mm,
Me authentically connecting with God. Like other people and their connection is their connection. That don't got nothing to do with me. And
that makes
I find how I best can connect with him today. There is a way that my soul feels today that is different than yesterday. And it's like I got to have a conversation with him today with these variables that are weighing on my soul, you
sense.
know?
Yeah, nice. I see the time up there is like has 6 minutes. So I was just gonna say if it ends, can I send you another link? Because
Okay.
it gives me like a 40 time thing. So I'll send it to Lori and I don't know if she can forward it to you. If she's available.
Okay. Lori was actually texting me.
Okay. So if it ends, I'll send a new link to her and have her like forward it to you real quick.
Okay.
Hopefully that works. But yeah,
Sounds
okay. So I was gonna ask about your sound and your process of making music because what I
Oh,
admire,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
that's okay.
Phone is on 4%.
Oh
So
no.
I'll have to charge my phone, but
Yeah.
I'm sure we can get through these 6 minutes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I think what I admire is that it sounds so new and
Hmm.
fresh. It sounds like it sounds ancient, like it came from somewhere. And the
Hmm.
only thing I can think of is heaven. Like it sounds
Oh,
like it's just like it just came from somewhere. And it sounds familiar, but also I've never heard this before. I don't know. I cannot say that you sound like this and this and this because it's just a sound that I've never heard. And I think I enjoy when I see something that is completely new and different. And I wanted to ask, is this something that came through practice? Is this something that you started off singing because you've been making music for a while and you were just like, oh, I sound like this. Okay, cool. Or I sound like this, but I want to sound like that. So how was how was curating your own sound? Did you even curate it or was it innate, you know?
yeah. So you see how I said I'll sit there and a new song every day, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
That practice of going into the secret place
Mhm.
and not thinking about people, just thinking about connecting with God authentically. It has me, some of these songs, first of all, half the songs just be in tongues. Like it's not
I
even
love
like
that.
words that people understand, at least not English, and when you sit in that space of not trying to be relevant,
Mm,
you
mm,
know, you'll be surprised at the innovative things that come because you're pulling them straight out of the spirit realm.
mm.
You take your partnership with the Holy Spirit and you start to craft within the English language, within your day-to-day experiences. You put your life experiences in these containers of melodies and rhythms and cadences and all these things that you got from your alone time with God. And you mix it together, and it's a collaboration with the Holy Spirit and you. And so that's why it's innovative, because I'm not only doing a one-dimensional thing where it's just all about my human ingenuity and how cool I can be, or if I can be like that sound, or I wonder if I have the right sound. No, it's just I'm pulling my sound from the sound that God gives me.
Yeah.
And then we collaborate.
Is it hard to tune out the noise and just focus one-on-one, like basically in the secret place, consecrated, because there can be a lot of distraction, especially even being signed to a label. I can imagine a lot of expectation and expectation maybe from others or from yourself to do and make. Is there any expectation, and how do you tune that out and just focus like this is just a me and God thing?
Well, at first, that's how it starts with you and God. But then you have to take it from that place and get it ready for consumption. And that at that point is like you do have to consider your audience. You have to consider, how can I help people understand? How can I bring people into this moment? So that helps to curate the listening experience as well. Like, you're thinking about, how can you paint a picture that that translates to the listeners.
Yeah.
And so suddenly you go from just me and God, we eat and we feast, and now it's like, okay, how can I serve the people this meal that the Lord served me? And I want them to receive it, so I need to prepare it with the seasonings that I know they like. I need to prepare it with all the things. And so it's not just about me eating, it's about, now take what the Lord has fed me and feed the people. And so that's really kind of like the heart behind it.
I love that. So my next question was going to be, well, you talk about just being in like basically the pits of it and waiting for that glory hour, waiting for the appointed time. And my favorite song on the album, I think, is I Don't Have to Pretend. And you talk about, or I saw a caption that was kind of about how the song is basically in that waiting, waiting for the sun to shine again. And I want to know, how do you wait? Waiting is hard to do. It's a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of uncertainty. How did you wait, or how do you recommend that someone waits for the glory hour?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You wait by beholding Jesus. So what I mean by that is, while you're waiting, you could look at all the things that are making the waiting experience painful or uncomfortable. And the more you look at those things, the more you're like, I can't wait anymore. I give up. Like, because your focus, what you focus on, will determine your faith. So the more you focus on Jesus, no matter what's all happening around you, the more your faith will be strengthened, because the Bible says that he's the author and the finisher of our faith. Once I ran a marathon, and I was not trained or qualified to run a marathon.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but guess how I did it?
Wow.
I just looked at Jesus the whole time. I was looking up at the sky, worshiping him the whole time, thanking him for one step at a time. And I figured that if I could just stay doing this until the clock runs out, Now, it can be annoying when it's like, oh, I have 5 more hours of this, but don't think of 5 more hours. Just think of 1 second, 1 step, and each step you look at him. It's easy because he's so amazing.
Yeah.
And the key is, no matter what, don't stop looking at how beautiful Jesus is. That you just, no matter what, because you could easily start, you start looking at, how far you've come.
Yeah.
And when you look at how far you've come, it's like, I deserve to stop now because look at how far. You're not looking at the right thing. You could look at how far you have left. Oh, I have 5 more hours left. I could never. You're not looking at Jesus. At that point, you're looking at how much you have left. You could look at how slow you are compared to other people. That's not the right thing to look at. If you focus on that, that'll have you, I should just stop. You could look at how your ankle hurts. If you look at that, you'll be like, yeah, we should be done.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are vying for your gaze. And as soon as you shift your gaze to other things, those then start feeding your soul. And they don't have the power to sustain your soul through to glory hour.
Yeah.
Only Jesus does. And so when you look at him, he will hold you even through all the trials, all the temptations, everything. Just don't stop looking at how beautiful he is. Sometimes there's a lot of ugly stuff all around, and it's like, but look at how ugly. But don't exalt that ugliness over the beautifuln's of Jesus. Just like keep looking at him. It's like, but there's this like big monster that's like right here, like like trying to take me out. And it's like, don't look at the monster. Look at Jesus. You know what I mean? And it's not pretending. Nor is it ignoring. It's just you have one set of eyes, and you're intentionally deciding what your focal point will be.
Right.
Whatever your focal point is, that's what's gonna. Because like just think of Peter. He was walking on the water. At first he was looking at Jesus. Then he started looking at all the winds and the waves, and as soon as he looked at the winds and the waves, that's when doubt entered his heart, and he couldn't uphold himself by doubt. He could only uphold himself by faith, but he only had faith so long as he was looking at Jesus. So when you're in that waiting, it could be really dark. It could be, but that's like what I mean when in the album, when I say, take your candle of hope and light it with the flame of faith. That flame is like the Holy Spirit. Like, it might not be glory hour, but you can have your candle. Like, keep your candle burning. Keep your focus on that light. And then soon, all of darkness is going to be gone. But you need to keep that burning, that faith burning through the night until glory hour comes.
Yeah. Do you think we ever stop waiting? Like, or do you think you're still waiting? Or are you still waiting? I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, is waiting continuous? And like, yeah.
So here's the thing. This whole life is a life of waiting, because really, it's like you wait till you're big enough, and then you're big enough, and you wait till you're good enough, and then you're good enough, but then you wait till you're rich enough, and you're rich enough, and then you wait till you're married, and then you're married, and you wait till you have kids, and then you have kids, and then you wait till the kids are grown, and then they're grown, and then you wait till and then you die. Everything was waiting. So if you don't learn how to wait and be comfortable in the waiting, then you'll realize that your whole life was spent waiting and you never got to live. Waiting to graduate, waiting to get the job. Then you got the job, waiting to get the promotion. You got the promotion, waiting to retire. You wait to retire.
I know.
Everything's waiting. So you better become a good waiter.
Yeah.
And not only that, she's like, I'm coming back. We're called to wait. And so could it be that waiting is not just about waiting, but rather it's about preparation?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of time that we are given to get ready so that when it's it's the parable
Mm.
of the virgins. You have the
Mhm.
wise ones and the foolish ones.
Yes, yes.
The wise ones, they were all waiting, but
Yeah.
the wise ones waited and took the time of their waiting to be prepared. And then the foolish ones, like, they just squandered their waiting time. And so when the appointed time came, they were not ready to go. And
Mm-hmm.
so much of life is waiting, but it's not just to wait, it's to get ready. It's to get ready for when that bridegroom comes back, when Jesus comes back for his bride. Like, who's ready to go?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Because when he come and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's just gonna
So
sneak up on you.
exactly. So we
Yeah.
best be getting ready and be getting our families ready and our friends and everybody, like,
Right.
as best as we can. Like,
Yeah.
me being an artist and living my life like that is the best contribution I can make to the world, for the world to help the world get ready. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And
Giving them messages like glory hour, like, get get ready for that appointed time when Jesus is coming.
yeah. And literally taking people through the journey of how it is to wait with you. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's like,
That's it.
yeah, a great testament, to God's work in your life and the relationship that you have cultivated and are still cultivating with him. And it's inspiring. I want to
Mm-hmm.
know if, because we see a lot of like highlights of people, I want to know, are there any mistakes? Because you've been on this journey for a while. Are there any mistakes that you've made and something that you've learned along the way?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of mistakes. But most of the mistakes had to do with me not understanding who I am. When you don't understand who you are and you're dealing with a lot of powerful people, you can easily just, oh, I'm nobody. You guys are everybody. Like, you guys are everything and I'm nothing. Like,
Yeah.
but if you really understand who God is, and who can understand who God is? No one. Like, he's just beyond our comprehension. But if you have a clue, hold on, my sister's calling me. Let me say, call you right back.
And all your
Um,
siblings are so incredibly talented as well. It's insane.
yes.
And your house must just be with music all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, but my sis, you want to know who you are so that you can, it's important to really better understand who God is and who you are in relation to God. And then value yourself accordingly, regardless of what you see outwardly. Imagine if Jesus measured himself by what he saw outwardly, by, like, oh, I'm not, like, if he's by the clothes he was wearing, or the job that he had, or the,
Or what
you
people
know,
said about him.
what he said, yeah, or with a government position, or if he was a rich businessman or not. No, he just had to know based off of who his father was, and that's it. That had to be enough.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we have to have the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
Otherwise, you're going to make all sorts of mistakes thinking you're just so lowly and not worthy and all the things.
yeah, yeah. I like that answer. I'm like, so wise. Okay, I one last question. Um, my fiance's mom loves you. She's been listening to you for honestly longer than even I have. And I didn't tell her this podcast was happening, but I said, if you had one question to ask Victory, what would it be? And then she's also in Echo Park as well, but she's like, I would just ask her to come over for dinner. I was like, no, one question. One question. So she said, okay, what is her favorite food? So she wants to know what your favorite food is, and she's gonna listen to this, and I'm gonna ask on behalf of her.
That's so sweet. I wish your mom knew I was staying in Echo Park for a whole week.
I know she's gonna go crazy if she finds out. Like, I was so close.
Yeah. What's my favorite food? I really like a nice, really well-cooked piece of salmon, like jerk salmon.
Oh,
Like,
I've never had that.
it's like if you go to a Caribbean place, they have like jerk chicken and all that, but then they also have jerk salmon. Like,
oh, I did not know that was a thing. I recently found out about jerk pasta, like recently. But
Brooklyn has it. Brooklyn
yeah.
definitely. You're in Brooklyn, right?
Yes, yeah. Basically,
Yeah.
I'm in Ridgewood, but basically Bushwick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna check that out.
I used to order that whenever I was in the studio in Brooklyn.
Do you
Like
know
that
from
would be.
where?
I forget. I just know Uber Eats. I forgot the
Yeah.
name. But yeah.
Okay, jerk salmon. All right. Now she's gonna go and learn how to make it. But thank you so much for your time. Seriously, it's been a joy and so much just wisdom. And like, I love talking to people and leaving feeling like I gotta get to know Jesus more. Like I have to, like, like leaving feeling like, there's depths that I have to go into. So thank you for that. I hope the rest of your stay in LA is amazing. And yeah, this is probably gonna come out Monday, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I record them on Saturday, so this worked out perfectly.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for being here and all of your wisdom. If you have one last word, what would it be?
It would be, my last word would be to take the path that requires the most faith.
Okay. Wow. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And like,
faith.
It's your faith that moves the hand of God. A lot of people could have a greater manifestation of the hand of God in their life, but they just are too stuck on being in control all the time. And so they take the path that requires the least amount of faith so they can stay in control. But that means you only get the manifestation of your hand and your works and your goodness and your strength. But we have an opportunity as Christians. Like one of the biggest benefits as Christians is to have the right to access the hand of God and the works of God and the goodness of God and the reputation of God and the track record of God. Like everything that is His becomes ours, but you can't access it without faith. So take the path that requires the most faith, and then you'll see the greater manifestation of God in your life.
Yeah. And I think when people stay in their comfort zone, it's to avoid pain and like rejection.
Oh yeah.
But running from that is running from intimacy and like depth.
Yeah.
And you need
running
that.
away from destiny.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
And yeah, I hope to see you in New York City again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night.